Let's continue with the series of financial accounting and controlling complete configuration. So we've looked at taxes on sales and purchases, which is the input VAT and output VAT, right? So now there's other taxes. There are other form of taxes, which is withholding tax, WHT. Now, first of all, we need to understand what is withholding tax, like withholding tax. What is withholding tax? So withholding tax are prepaid tax. They are prepaid tax, or you call it tax at source. You call it tax at source, or you could also call it retention tax, or you could also call it advance tax. Yeah, you could also call it an advance tax. So, what do we mean advance tax? What do we mean as taxes at source? What do we mean by that? So, here in Nigeria and in some other countries like that. So, I'll use Nigeria as a case study. Some companies, some corporate companies, big companies like oil and gas companies, like telecommunication companies, have been saddled with responsibility or have been challenged or have been given responsibility to be a or a tax agent on behalf of federal government, or let me say on behalf of Federal Inland Revenue Service, which is FIRS, right? So oil and gas companies are given opportunity or are being responsible to withhold the VAT and taxes on behalf of federal government and remit it to the federal government. Now, I think my wordings may not be correct there, or maybe maybe too complicated. Let me simplify it. You go to H Medics or you go to ShopRite to buy some items. Any items or any product you buy, there is a VAT portion of it on goods and services. VAT is on goods and services, yeah, value added tax. There is a VAT portion of the product that you pay to ShopRite. ShopRite remits the VAT to the government, right? That's what happens. You pay inclusive of VAT. For every product you buy, you pay inclusive of VAT. So, but in this case, those corporate corporate companies, those corporate companies are responsible are responsible for collecting tax from federal government, collecting tax for, or withholding tax, VAT and withholding tax from companies and remitting it to the federal government. Sorry, I had a call, so I had to. So, um, so like I was saying, so that's what happens in Nigeria here. So the communication companies and oil and gas company withhold taxes from vendors and remit it to the federal government. Now that withholding taxes, like I said, is an advanced tax. Yeah, it's an advanced tax. So uh, for every for every goods and services that have been created, the companies withhold 2%, 5%, depending on the nature of the transaction, whether professional services or whether contract or whether buying of goods and services. There are rates that are supposed to be deducted or that are supposed to be deducted at source and remitted. So now the vendors that those taxes were withheld from at every annual or at every fiscal year, they go to the FRS to do what? To net off to net off the tax liability on their corporate income tax. Their corporate income tax, it is every company are eligible or are responsible to pay corporate income tax or income tax. Individual is income tax, while government, why companies are corporate income tax. That's what they pay, right? So by the time you are filing your corporate income tax at the end of the year, you look at all the taxes, all the withholding tax that have been withheld from you from different oil and gas company or telecommunication company, and use it as tax credits. Use it to net off your tax liability, especially on your corporate income tax. That is what we use withholding tax that are being withheld from individual company for. Yeah. So, like we say, it's a form of taxation. It's often applied to income, such as wages. It's also applied to um, corporate income tax, like I already said. So, in order not to dwell on that, you can read more on this withholding tax of a thing and get to understand how it works. But in a simple terminologies, 2%, 5% are usually withheld from from vendors or that suppliers and remit on behalf of them to the government. They will have a TIN number, that's tax identification number, which everything will be flowing into. So I don't want to dwell much on that, but let me quickly go into the system and see how practical or how this are being carried out, right? So now, Go into the system. First of all, I want to show you some practical scenario of it. So we click on FB60. So FB60, we want to demonstrate, like, FB60 is the invoice. So we want to see um, a practical example of what we meant by that. So let's put 100 here. I'll click enter. Now, as you can see, let me even check the company code if it's correct. Okay, we are fine. So as you can see, there is a tab here that is called withholding tax tab. After payment detail tax, there's also a place called withholding tax tab. But the withholding tax tab is not showing here, right? It's not showing simply because we have not activated withholding tax. Yeah, so like we have said before, SAPS for HANA is using a methodology called activate. So we are supposed to activate every sub modules or every modules that we want to work on. So now we'll go and activate that, and so you can come here to see. So let me take it step by step and go and activate that. So I'll just go to SPRO. I'll open another screen, and then I'll click on SIMG. That's the part two. Then I'll go to financial accounting. Then I'll go to financial accounting global setting. Then I'll go to withholding tax. This is withholding tax, right? Then I'll go to extended withholding tax. So the first thing I'll do is come to this company code. Then I'll click on activate withholding tax. So that's the first thing I'll do. I'll click on activate withholding tax. So I'll just click on position and put my company code. Then my company code. Then I'll click on this to activate it. I'll click on save. So it's telling me to caution, but that's exactly what I want to do. You're activating withholding tax. I say yes. I go ahead. I activate it. So after activation, I've activated it now, right? I've activated it. I'm going back. So the first thing is to do what? To activate withholding tax. So let me come here and put that activate withholding tax. So let's go to see what we have done. I'll go back now. Can you see the withholding tax tab is not showing? But I'll just go back now and show it. So as you can see now, withholding tax tab has shown because I just came back now and this withholding tax tab has shown. So we have activated withholding tax. So now the next thing is to say, okay, let me just put let me demonstrate that. Okay, so now I've put withholding tax now. This withholding tax tab, there's something that ought to come up here, but look at it's grayed out. They're all grayed out. Why are they grayed out? There are 2-3 issues sometimes that could cause this graying out of withholding tax. One of them, I'll quickly show you now. One of them is that first of all, you need to also maintain the withholding tax type on the vendor master, which is under BP, right? We need to maintain the withholding tax type under BP. So I'll open this. So I'm using Eco Hotel as the company. You can see Eco Hotel. So I'll just quickly go to company code, Adams Row company code. Then I'll come to company code. Then I'll come to withholding tax. So on this withholding tax, we are supposed to maintain the withholding tax type and withholding tax code. That's what we're supposed to do here. But you can see this place is also grayed out. Why is it grayed out? The reason I would also show this place is grayed out. We can't even maintain anything. But let's even look at let me click on edit here. I'm clicking on edit to see if there is anything that I can assign here. You can see no value found. No value found. Let me also come to this place and see. You can see no value found. Now we need to do some starting setup. We need to create a withholding tax type and we need to also create a withholding tax code. So let's go back to the system and do that. So we are closing back now. Then we're coming back to extended withholding tax. The first thing we look at is the basic setting. We look at the basic setting. So we check withholding tax country region. This we'll just go inside and create one for countries. We'll just create new. So I'll just say V1. So I'll create V1. I'll say country NG. Then I'll say 7.5 p. So it does not exist. Oh, country, sorry, it's country NG. Country is NG. Withholding tax country. Add withholding tax country key. So we can use V1 here. Actually, this is not really very, but it's also important, but they are not really very because. But I'll just create this and I'll save this. I'll save it and so because what we are doing here is on the country we are creating the tax code on country level. That's what we are trying to do here. We are creating tax code on country level. So I'll create another one again. I'll click new entry again. I'll say NG, which is the country. Then I'll say W1. Then I'll also say 2% withholding tax hotel. and I'll save it as well. So I've created two task. I've created two task code for country at country level. So we just click country, and you see the task code for country level. You can see V1 W1. This on country level. So anybody using Nigeria as a case as was a case study will be seeing V1 or W1. So I'll go back. I'll go back now. Define withholding task key. So this is also at country level. You can define it because I'll put ng here. Then I can define an official, what do you call it, an official key or name, right? You can always click new entry, and you can always say V1 and say 7.5 over. I'll say W1. So these are on country level anyway. These are country level. They don't really, they've not really have, they don't really have, for now, based on what we do, they won't really have a major effect or on what we are configuring. These are not the major things that needs to be done, but anyway, let me just include it in this video so that at least you are also fine, or if in future you want to demonstrate all these things. We'll also drop this here. So, but after that, there is little or nothing I'm doing on this basic setting here. I'll just close it because there are other things, but you can't really check recipient. Recipient is also this recipient means that which state, because the way withholding tax works is that I'm just using two examples here. I'm just using two task code to demonstrate this withholding tax on the thing here. But ordinarily we have 36 states, including federal capital, making it 37. So you need to create withholding tax for each of the states. VAT is collected at federal level, while withholding tax are collected at every state level. So what it means is that if you create a business in Jos, it is expected that your withholding tax is remitted or your corporate income tax is filed in Jos, right? So you are supposed to also your withholding tax also be ought to be remitted in Jos. That's what it means. In taxation, there are a lot of uh, things there that requires better understanding. You can go do one or two research on that. You understand what I mean. So, but in actual projects, you are supposed to create withholding tax for each state, and you're supposed to create a value-added tax. Some time ago, Rivers State took the federal government to court and they won, but I think it was settled out of court, I guess, politically, that the federal government will continue to uh, take VAT and also withholding tax. So that's not the context of what we are discussing here, but let's continue our journey. So recipient is also who are the recipient, like from the word recipient, which state is receiving the withholding tax thing. So I'll just close the business setting. The major ones are going to calculation. These are the major uh, functionality that one needs to do here. Calculation. You come to calculation and you click on withholding tax type. Because if you look at this place, what we really need is withholding tax type and withholding tax code, right? So I'll go back and come to this withholding tax type. This is the major thing we need to do here. So now we can define withholding tax type for invoicing and for payments, right? So in Nigeria and many other places, but some countries may choose to withhold their taxes on invoicing or on payment. But in Nigeria, yeah, taxes are due at the payment point, right? At the payment level. At the point of making payment, that's when taxes are due. If you do taxes at invoicing level, what it means is that by the time you are accruing for your invoicing, your tax is liable or tax is payable at that level. That's what we mean by invoicing at invoice posting. So but at that level, that's not at that level, but in some instances you've accrued an invoice, but you are not yet ready to pay the invoice. And imagine you have created a liability that this tax is liable at this point. So it doesn't really sit well with many. And in Nigeria, taxes are due at the point of payment. So therefore, we define withholding tax at payment posting. So click on payment posting, we click ready and we go in. So we click on new entry and then we just put V1 because we are withholding VAT based on the kind of company we are creating here. So we just say 7.5 VAT withheld. You can see this withholding tax type number changed to 1. It's just like serial number is changing to 1. Now you can see the calculation, it will be on net, not on gross. Let me really show you something on Excel. So we have base amount, we have VAT amount, and we have gross amount. The base amount is 93.02, right? The VAT is 7. You can see the calculation here times 0.075, which is 7.5. In Nigeria, VAT is 7.5. Then we have our gross as 100. Now, just based on the company we are currently working on, we are supposed to withhold VAT and also withholding tax, and this is what we are withholding, making it 8.84. And this is net payable. This is what should go to the vendor at the end of the day. right? This is what needs to go to the vendor at the end of the this amount. Again, our taxes is based on, look at, a VAT is subject to base amount, not actually gross, right? Base amount, not actually gross, right? And that's how taxes are calculated here in Nigeria. So it's based on net amount, not on gross, not on notification. So you can always leave all the other setups and just click on save, right? You can save and go ahead. Then you come back again and you can create another one. You can always create new entry again and say this time you say W1. You'll see this stuff will change to 2 because that's what now say 2%, 2% withholding tax, withheld, right? I'll click enter. And you can see it has changed to 2, and I'll just go ahead and save. I'm doing Control S to save. So I've done this 2. This 2 is what I'll just use in demonstrating what I needed. So we have created that, and this exchange rate type of donor tax, you can always maintain it if the business requires, if the business setup or business scenario requires it. You can always do exchange rates, rounding rule, and all these assigned condition type of whatever. So I'll just close this, and I'll come to withholding tax code. We have created withholding tax type. What we need now, based on this, we need withholding tax code. Now let's come to withholding tax code. Before that, define withholding tax key. So before I forget, let me open up this withholding tax type and click on this. And also paste it here. So the next one is to create tax code. So I'm coming to the withholding tax code now. I'll click define withholding tax code here. I'll click NG. I'll go inside and I'll click new entry. Now, what are the things that I need to maintain here? I need withholding tax type, which I've defined before. V1 I've defined before. I'll click enter. Now I need withholding tax code. I'll use V1 as well. Then I'll say 7.5 VAT withheld. Click enter. Now it's telling me what posting indicator. I'll just choose one, which is standard posting offsetting. I'll choose one, right? This is upper setup. You put one. Now base amount percentage subject to tax should be what? 100%. I'm using 100%, right? Then I'll also use the calculation will be 7.5, right? The calculation will be 7.5. I'll just save this. I'm saving this now. I'm going ahead to save it. You can see we are fine here. I'll go back. I'll create another one. New entry. I'll create for W1 because withholding tax we have created W1 already, right? So I'll just say W1 again as withholding tax code. I'll say 2% withholding tax there, right? Post indicator. I'll put 1. I'll also come to this place and say 100. Then I'll say 2%, right? And we should be fine, right? I'll just click enter. I've done this, and I think we're fine now. At this level, we have created withholding tax code and withholding tax type. At this level now, I can always go back here now and put the withholding tax type and withholding tax code, right? So coming to this place, so I'll quickly come to the withholding tax type. So now I can come inside and I'll see the withholding tax type. Here you can see these are the withholding tax type I've created, right? So W1 here. So withholding tax code, and it's also V1. You can see they are changing already the name. You can see that, and W1. So we have created it, and that's why we could see it now. So I'll just save it. I'll click on this to check mark, and I'll save it. Now you can see now we are able to see withholding tax and withholding tax code. This is what we maintain under the vendor now. This vendor we have maintained it. Now you expect that you should see it, right? Now let me go inside again. P16. You would expect you should see the parameter here, right? Now I'll go to the tax tasks again. I'm not seeing it. What's happening? Why am I not seeing it? The reason is because you have not extended the tax type to company code. So that's what we'll do now. So we have defined the tax code, fine. Now what we need to do now is to do what? Define the tax for company code. So assign withholding tax type so every withholding tax type you have created, you have to assign it to what? To the company code, and that's what we quickly do now. Assign withholding tax type to company code. We click new entry, and then we'll put our company code, which is AD00. Then we'll come to the withholding tax type, which is V1, and we'll click enter. Now if you have a recipient type, you put it here. That's what it will. But we didn't create a recipient type, We'll just leave it like that. Then you come to this place and put obligatory. I think I'm fine like this. You see this check mark here is very, very important. If you don't do this check mark, you won't be able to. But let me do it and I'll show you. I'll save it. I'll save it. I'll go back again and click inventory for W1. I'll do AD00. Then W1. I'll do this. I'll do this. I'll save it again. So we have created two withholding tax type now, and we have assigned it to the company code. We have assigned the withholding tax type to the company code, right? So assign uh, tax type. I think let's take a configuration. Let's do calculation with the task code. The task code. Let me copy this. Good. So we are done with this now. So we're fine, right? So we'll go back again and see. This time this place should not be grayed out, it should be showing. So you can see now it's already coming up now. Vendor 3 is subject to what? Withholding tax. It's already telling that it's subject to withholding tax because it has worked. That's what it means. Voila. 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 You can see this is now proper, it's now coming out properly. That's what it means. You have finally configured withholding tax, what have you. But let me show you something. You see this place is not graying out here, it's coming up. Now, I've shown you one of the reasons why. If I don't, I will uncheck this, I'll save it. I've saved it. I'll come back uh, to this place, and you see that this place should grayed out again. Because why? You have deactivated. Now come to this place again. You can see it has grayed out. So there are three reasons why this particular tab can be grayed out. One is under the vendor master, which is this one. I'll check this back. I'll save it. This is one. I'm sure you should keep it. You should listen to this thing carefully because you'll be faced with this thing. Users will ask you that this. Yeah. I'll go back again. You can see it has come back. You can see it has come back, right? The second one that could also cause that particular place to gray out, the withholding tax type to gray out, is under company code assignment of, which is this. I'll go inside again. I'll come to company code, which is AD00. I'll go inside. I'll go inside this place. I'll uncheck this. I'll save it. This can also cause that. I'll go ahead and continue. I'll save it. Then I'll go back. Okay, I'll also check this. I'll save it. These are the two tax type we're working on, right? Now I'll come back to this place. Mind you, this place are checked, and so you should expect that it shouldn't be grayed out, right? But it will be grayed out because we have also checked something LB60, right? So I'm coming again to check this. You see, it will not throw up that subject to withholding tax because why? It has grayed out again. You can see it has grayed out. So these are various things that needs to be done before that you need to take note of that could make your withholding tax tab to grayed out. There are three of them. I think there are three issues that could result to withholding tax tab to be grayed out. One of them is this one, which we have saved successfully. The other one is this part, which we have also done successfully. The other one again is the fee status. The fee status on the withholding tax GL. The fee status on the GL, on the the fee status on the vendor reconciliation GL, because for every vendor subledger you created, you assign a vendor reconciliation GL to it. The vendor reconciliation GL is created under FS00, which is creation of GL, right? And the fee status group there, you can use fee status group to also suppress this place. You can use it to suppress this place. I could also show you, but before then, let me show you back that everything is fine now. FS00. Oh God, every 16. No, I'm using the code itself. asking us that is subject to withholding tax. You can see it has come up back, right? The other one, like I said, is the record GL under trade back interest, which is the status group. If I suppress this withholding tax, let me check taxes, right? If I suppress this thing, if I suppress it, all these things, if I suppress it, it will not show. Let's I don't, but this I will just show you. I'm showing. I don't want to take this video to be lengthy. If I take this thing back here, I'll suppress the two. This withholding tax code and withholding tax amount. That place would also go. This part will also go. You will not see it. It will grade out. So these are the three reasons that could cause withholding tax tab under vendor under invoicing to be graded out. I've shown you that. Note this, please. Note it. So I think assign withholding tax type, and so we are fine now. We are fine. I think the withholding tax tab should be working perfectly now.